Welcome back, guys. I trust you've been staying safe. Now, I have a question for you. Who is your friend? Yeah, because today's true crime story is the biggest betrayal of all, from two women who claimed to be friends of a man who had just peacefully passed on to the other side of the world. Now, this case is coming from the United States of America, and I think that it is a perfect example of the saying that money is the root of all evil. Just that in this case, these two women at the center of the issue took it to a crazy new level. I have never seen this before in my entire period of covering true crime stories. Now, the case is coming from the Ashtabula town or county in Ohio in the United States of America, where an 80-year-old man by name Douglas Lehman was found to have made a withdrawal on his account, but just that the time the withdrawal was done was after the date and time he is actually on record as having passed on to the afterlife. Now, further investigations would reveal that when Douglas Lehman passed on, he was found by two of his friends that he was living with. And these are two men by name Laureen Ferrallo and Karen Kasbom. They lived with Douglas. So when Douglas passed on to the other world, these two ladies found him. So what do you think would have been the honorable thing to do? I don't know much about the legal process in the US, but I think by default, someone would suggest at least call the ambulance, call 911 that our friend has passed on. And at the age of 80 years, I think it's likely it might be due to natural causes or maybe complications from old age. But these women didn't do any of this. What they are alleged to have done is they actually took Douglas Lehman, who had passed on, placed him in a car and drove with him to the ATM of a bank, and then with him aiding them as a corpse, they cashed money out of his account, after which they dropped him off at a hospital. Now, when I came by this case, I was struggling to understand what was going through the minds of these two women at the time they hatched this plan through to the point they finished executing it. How do you do this to somebody you say is your friend? Now, as it stands now, they are facing charges. They've been charged with theft and also with the gross abuse of a corpse. And it's rightly so. I hope they are found guilty if they really are guilty. And if they are found guilty, if they are guilty, I hope they get the worst punishment, because this is very sad. This man has surviving relatives. And particularly when it comes to people passing on, I think this is global. We are to give the remains of that person the necessary respect. You know, it's literally called paying your respects to the deceased. So I don't understand the level of greed and the level of disloyalty that would warrant two friends of this man to behave that way. Now, somebody would say, oh yeah, maybe they needed the money for whatever. I am saying that nothing can justify this. Nothing can justify this. In actual fact, they just stole from a dead man who, according to them, is their friend, who they lived with. And I don't know how they were able to live with their conscience right up until their arrest. But this case saddened me, because I was feeling for the surviving family of Douglas, who would have to have his name dragged through this case, when in fact he should be resting peacefully. I just don't understand. And I'm hoping that they'll run an autopsy to confirm whether he passed on without any foul play, because if they can do this after he had passed on and they were staying with him, you see where I'm going? There's a possibility something else might be off. I'm hoping that they will run everything and not leave any stone unturned. But honestly, this is one of the most surprising cases that I've ever seen. And I'm also trying to understand how they played the whole thing out with the deceased Douglas when they got to the ATM. How did they do it with him? Did they have to, well, I don't know, and how much did they even withdraw? That was so important to them. They had to go through all this and desecrate his remains. I just don't understand. If you have an idea of what, just let me know. If you know more about this case than I do, let me know. I've been struggling to get more information on it, and I'm not getting much. Honestly, I'm not getting much. But then the son and the family of Douglas are very, very unhappy with what has happened. And I'm hoping they will press charges. Honestly, I'm hoping they will press charges. Whatever the case, these two men shouldn't be allowed to be at his funeral, because there's nothing else for them to say to him after what they've done. Leave your comments in the section. Do you think this is as a result of greed, or you think these women, if guilty of what they are accused of, are just plain evil and they were just waiting for the opportunity to take advantage of Douglas? And who is to say they were not even doing that already with him whilst he was alive? Just that would also require proof, and I'm really counting on the investigation to be thorough, because there could be more to this case than what we know so far. But shame on them if they actually did what they've been accused of doing. And I would also advise that it's important we check in on our older family members who may be staying with friends or staying at a family home. Sometimes such predators are around them, especially when they smell money. They may come around them as so-called friends or people who are genuinely concerned about them, when in fact they are just concerned about themselves and they are seeking to make a dollar or two. If you've had similar things, just let me know. But hey, on the other side of the issue, please support us to hit 5,000 subscribers before the end of this year. Just share our videos with the people in your circle. And as much as you'll be helping our channel grow, you will also be helping them learn and take lessons from some of these cases that we are sharing. Don't think it's that far off from you. You never know. There are crazy people all around, irrespective of country, continent, or race. And you are better prepared if you are better prepared. And we will help you to be better prepared. Subscribe if you are yet to do so. Turn on the post notification. I'll catch you on the next one.